Hello friends, and welcome to Gardening with Creekside. It is a hopping day here at the nursery. We have got a lot of things going on. It is mid-August. The temperatures are cranking, but so is the plant production. We're moving forward with the potting machine and the potting building. We have got George here from AdeptAg. He is here getting the machine all geared up for our production season, and so we're going to check in to see what kind of progress is happening there. Jerry is here. He is actually down on the shrub lot. We are going to add some more shrubs to the online order. It is just a hustle and bustle of activity here at Creekside as per usual. Now I do want to talk about some of the amazing perennials that we are currently growing. And some of them are available now. Some of them are available as a pre-order. So if you are interested in these, I would move with purpose and head on over to gardeningwithcreekside.com and check them out. Because not only do we have those great standard workhorse perennials of the garden, but we have got some fun new introductions as well. So we're just going to kind of walk through, talk about some plants, because remember, the fall is the perfect time to add perennials and shrubs to your garden, especially if you are in a warmer zone like we are here in North Carolina, a zone 8A. If you're in a cooler zone, I would say like zones 7 and cooler, then obviously on the calendar, you're going to add them earlier than we are. Depending on your climate, you've got to be a student of your own garden, right? That could mean that you could go ahead and plant them directly in the landscape now, or maybe just hold them in their nursery containers for a couple of weeks and then add them in September. You know your garden best, so you know when to add them. Y'all, we have got the cotton candy thalictrum right here, and this is like the prettiest plant ever. This crop is absolutely gorgeous with this beautiful foliage. Now, what is cotton candy thalictrum? So this is going to be a tall, upright perennial, about 3.5 feet tall, and it's called cotton candy because it has those beautiful pink, fluffy blooms on it. Now, your cotton candy thalictrum is going to be hardy in zones, excuse me, 5 to 8, and just brings a bunch of whimsy and character to your garden. So while we have beautiful foliage right here, kind of waiting a little bit to make sure that the roots are nice and developed in those. Midnight Masquerade Penstemon. This is going to be that one that we all know and love. Penstemons, of course, give us beautiful foliage. Midnight Masquerade, when it's in the full UV light, your foliage is going to be really, really dark purple. Here in the greenhouse, because it's UV protected, it's more green. So just know that when you order this and it arrives, it's going to be green, but you put it in UV light and it'll turn that near black foliage. Of course, your penstemons, these are spring bloomers, 3 to 3.5 feet tall, full sun. Is a great way to bring in the pollinators, hardy in zones 3 to 8, and those beautiful flowers on that deep burgundy. This is going to be a great addition. I have multiple of these in my garden, and I love Midnight Masquerade. As we discussed earlier in the week, the Crazy Daisies, they are 40% off. And y'all, here is a precious little bloom that we have got going. But see how like serrated and fluffy that flower is? It is gorgeous. So your Crazy Daisies are 40% off. These are beautiful quart-sized containers, as are all of our perennials and shrubs. A quart size is going to give you beautiful, nice, healthy roots. I do not want you to be freaked out if you order something and the foliage is a little less than desirable, shall we say. So for example, like what am I talking about? Well, Golden Tiara Hosta. Y'all, if you're blessed to live in a nice cool zone, then maybe your hostas look absolutely gorgeous all the time. Here in the South, we struggle massively. Now we're going to do our best to clean these up, But just because, let's say that you received this golden tiara in the mail today and you see some burnt leaves, please do not freak out, y'all. It is perfectly fine. You can come in and we're going to pinch those off, but look at all of the beautiful foliage that is popping up, right? Beautiful, strong, healthy root system. This is going to be a great addition. So yes, it is the middle towards the end of August in North Carolina. Certain plants are going to struggle. It is okay. We're just going to clean it up because what you're buying is that strong, healthy root system. This hosta will absolutely flourish in your landscape. Now, back to some things that are some pre-order. We have not talked about this. This is a brand new one. This is another penstemon. This is Parade of Parrots. We had a flock of flamingos and y'all loved it. You gobbled it up so much this year. And then Brian, you remember our sweet Brian that works with us that has that gorgeous garden? Well, he has Parade of Parrots in his garden and planted it with the flock of flamingos. So think of flock of flamingos, but a really deep, deep, rich pink. Oh my goodness. So of course, this is from our friends at Terra Nova, your penstemon. Like we said, full sun, hardying zones 7 to 9, 14 inches tall, 18 inches wide. I cannot wait to add Parade of Parrots to my landscape with the flock of flamingos. This is a pre-order because they've just come in and their roots are not developed yet. I mean, we got some coming out the bottom, but they're not fully ready to go yet. So you can go ahead and go to the website, pre-order this, and then when they are ready, we will send it to you. And then, y'all, if you remember, we've talked about this a couple of times before in the umbrella pine bed where I added that huge like mass planting of the peach pearl agastache at the front. And when I would do reels or pictures, y'all were like, what is that plant? Well, it is peach pearl and we've got it restocked. Y'all, the pearl agastache, they are phenomenal. First of all, let's talk about this beautiful foliage right here. So peach pearl, as its name suggests, is going to be that beautiful peachy orange color. And the great thing about the pearls is that they are wider than they are tall. So this is perfect for the front of the border. It's going to be about 8 inches tall, 16 inches wide, full sun, hardy in zones at 6 to 10. And I can absolutely attest that they are wider than they are tall. Mine still look absolutely amazing in the landscape. This is the biggest surprise for me of the year was this peach pearl. I love this plant. All right, so we've been holding out and I've been hiding this plant. I didn't tell you about it. Y'all, look at this cutie patootie. This is a perennial viola. This is Heartthrob. When I was on Terra Nova's website ordering our FYRE wing Heucheras, I saw this cutie and I was like, I gotta have it. And you know, I figure if I want to have it in my garden, then you probably want it in your garden as well. I showed Mimi, she freaked out. So your violas are going to be for your shade garden. So part shade to shade, hardy in zones at 5 to 9. Not going to be very tall, about 8 inches tall, 12 inches wide. But you get, it's going to produce more of the deeper purple veining in it as it gets that UV light. This is going to be perfect to add, like tuck it in little nooks and crannies. Tuck it in up underneath a hydrangea so it'll like kind of be peeking out and spilling out. Beautiful low growing ground cover, I would say, type of role in your garden. It's going to do those beautiful heart-shaped flowers, leaves, as its name suggests, with the heartthrob. So this is a pre-order because it's not fully developed yet. It is getting there, but just keep that in mind. And then we talked about the FYRE wing Heucheras, brand new genetics, not new colors, new genetics from Terra Nova. This almost reminds me of like some kind of fancy lettuce, right? So very, very lacy. This is known as a lace gene that is present in these Heucheras. They're called the FYRE wing because they the marketing is fantastic. So they have like a dragon on the tag with all of the different colors. This is hardy in zones 4 to 9, so extremely versatile. It has the Velosa breeding in it, which matters to my southern gardeners on days like this when it is so sticky and hot and humid. These Heucheras don't care. They absolutely can handle it. It's going to be about 11 inches tall, 12 inches wide, great for containers, the landscape. I'll let Jerry kind of pan over the colors. We'll have them tagged in the video, but you've got chartreuse, you've got a deep green, we have got purples, we have got like a kind of an orangey amber color. All of these are really developing and they're starting to show those beautiful signs of new growth. You've got like a black one and then you've got a blue with some silver overlay on it. Clearly, these are not ready to ship now. They all have new growth popping out on them. We're estimating that they will ship in 6 to 8 weeks. Once we have a beautiful canopy and a really strong root system, then we're going to ship them. They are going to ship this fall. So if you're in a zone 4 and you know that in 8 weeks you're gonna have snow on the ground, maybe hold off and order these in the spring. Maybe not right now. My southern people, my warmer people, absolutely would be great to add these in the fall to your garden. Super excited about these new Fire Wing Heucheras. It is a mouthful. They are gorgeous, stunning. Now, I've got Jerry here with me, and he is going to talk about some shrubs that we're going to add to the sale.
Yeah, right. So we're adding some more shrubs to the sale, which started on Monday. So there's, what, 3 or 4 of those on there now. We're going to continue that through the rest of this week.
Yeah.
And then we're popped on. I've got 4 right here. I'm really interested in showing to you deer-proof shrub, boxwood solution shrub. Okay, so we're trying to help you, trying to get you some plants that'll help you with your deer pressure and also add some color and some pop into that garden. So we added Sunjoy Toto, super nice, really deep burgundy, bright center type red colors, barberry to your garden there.
And this is the one that we're going to be adding up into this bed, and it only gets to be about 2 feet tall, so it makes a beautiful specimen or a hedge.
Yep, a hedge. Yeah, so really red is being added to that. This is going to be a little bit bigger than I think than Toto. And then I'm not as familiar with this one though, but it's Sunjoy Sequins Barberry. We have a good number of this. So it's kind of like a really autumn color, so it'll be fun to watch in the garden.
Yeah, and sequins will have like some variegation on it, hence its name, so you're going to get some different colors on that one.
So these are going to you're all getting these at the 40% off. Okay, so just like the other ones, they're all 40% off. And then we're adding in hedge box. So this is a boxwood replacement for those of you that are dealing with the moth or the boxwood blight, or you're tired of dealing with those type of issues that are coming up in the garden. So this is a great one, 3x4 or something like that in the tall.
Loves to be pruned.
Yeah. So it really loves to be pruned and made to look in a shape that you want it to look. Right? If you want it to be pyramidal, you could. It'd be cool in a pot. You could put it in the center of the pot, make a little pyramid and plant plants around it, so it'd be a nice evergreen interest for your containers going into the winter. You could plant them with something like Toto, so you can go green and red and burgundy. So this would be a good, window pane type planting where you have the two together, the contrasting colors to make them work together. Proven Winners, Color Choice Shrubs is really working on solutions for the gardener, and we're trying to highlight those, and we're going to be highlighting those solutions at our Proven Winner workshop coming up in September. So you don't want to miss out on that one too. Also, I wanted to spend some time. We tried to talk about this. I know our YouTube audience is really good. They're on top of it because we talk about it all the time. These are not your regular Quart. Okay, it's not like the Perennials, for instance, that are down here grown in a Quart. This guy has been trained to be what they call a quick turn Quart for the grower. We're selling it to the consumer. Okay, this has been designed for the grower to take it and go into a 2 or 3 gallon pot and finish somewhere between 4 to 6 weeks. 4 to 6 weeks for the 2 gallon, maybe 8 to 10 for the 3 gallon. It is going to have roots coming out of the bottom. We had a customer call in and they were concerned about this has been in here. Yeah, It's been in here for a long time for a purpose. Okay, so that way when it gets into that big container or into your landscape where the soil has been prepared for it to grow, it is going to take off. Okay, do not be scared of these. This is a good size one at all, but they've been pruned, they've been hit, so as soon as they get in the ground or as soon as they get into a pot, they start branching out again and ready to go. So this is a excellent price point for a quick turn court. We are excited to sell these, and I just want you to kind of have an understanding of what you're really getting. So I think what we're going to do now is just kind of walk up and take a look at construction with the building, and the folks from AdeptAg are here. George is here, the technician, and just doing some fine tuning on the machine. And just Jackson and he were working yesterday getting the hopper just kind of set up and raised for outside. So we'll go over there and take a look at that.
So you can see that our team is here and they are beginning to get the wrap on the building. And of course you do this to help protect weatherproof siding. Yeah,
going with the 1x8 plank siding, hardy plank, concrete board, just like we did on the annex in here, trimming and all the jazz. They finished OSB yesterday on this wall.
So all of the OSB has been installed. We're gonna hide around here into the shade.
Shade, man, I am like burning up.
Well, you know what? It just shows people that it's stinking hot around
here. Hot right
and
now.
Our guys are back there.
Everybody's
taking
trying to
a
get
water
in the shade
break
and water and everything.
Thankfully, the dew point's down a little bit today, so it's not as oppressively sticky. But yeah, so they got at least the first round of the paper on and cut out some windows to make sure the air is still flowing.
Yeah, we have ordered 5 windows. We'll maybe be able to install the 3 because 2 came cracked.
Yeah.
So we're having to reorder those. So we're saving these for last.
Yep.
Get the doors. Doors are ready to go. But here's the hopper. So we're really excited about the outdoor hopper. So when you're dumping all the soil and everything, and it makes a mess out here, we can clean up outside instead of inside a greenhouse or the building.
And we don't have to worry about any kind of clearance because obviously, literally the sky is the limit on that.
Yeah, so it's raised up from its travel position right here. That was when we came off of the truck. So you can see down here, they made a travel position for it. So that way, when it was on the tractor trailer, it was at a lower height and we had readjusted here. It's got to be fine-tuned a little bit. This is the conveyor that's going to the soil machine itself. So this will actually be shifted over where this conveyor is going to dump right onto this one and carries the soil in, gives it a little bit of water. I've added a water line the other day, so we're ready to go on that. So we've got nice clean water ready to go.
Can you back up just for a second?
Yeah.
Why would you need a water on the soil coming in?
It is really kind of preferable for your soil mix to have a little bit of a moisture to it. Okay, so that way it makes it pack better into the pot, and then it makes it easier for our planters when we're planting, and ready to go. So there's, this water bar and then a water tower on the end that we got to hook up. And that's when the plants have been planted. It gives them a juice of water, so when they go down, they're ready to go. But sometimes I think like our soils, especially when we're planting in the winter, it's kind of moist already.
It's kind of moist already. But this just keeps it from being so powdery.
And I think it's going to make it, a much better environment, of course, inside too. But it does help you plant better.
Yeah.
Get that nice root contact. You know how sometimes when we plant, if it's loose, and they kind of bounce around, you won't have that anymore.
And then, so while George is here, he came yesterday, was here all day yesterday.
Yeah.
He's gonna be here for a couple of days. So he's gonna hook all this up so you can see there's just 1 or 2 wires to connect those 2 together. And so that's why we're so grateful for George to be here, because he gets to be the one to do all of that connecting together.
Yeah, it's just a great thing, when you deal with a company like AdeptAg, you have a technician come on site to commission the machine. you guys followed us. We drove to Alabama, picked up a machine, hauled it all the way back. We were the commissioners of that machine, you know.
We had to figure out.
So it's nice to have George here. So we're really excited about that. We're going to show you more of that process. But yeah,
Yeah.
you want to go, you know,
Yeah,
in the building or?
Yeah, let's go inside.
Yeah.
So George is working currently. If you hear some background noise, he is just making sure that everything is perfect on the machine before we start to put it all together. But before George came, Jerry had to get all of the electrical, all of that ready to go. So when George is
water,
here,
air, 30 amp service to 2 different areas for this machine. Yeah, so right here on the control panel, just to give you an idea of everything that's going on right here, this is all new stuff. The only thing we had to worry about is getting power to the panel, but they know where to put all their communication wires, and so these drives, VD drives, VF drives, you know what to do with the hopper outside and the conveyor coming inside. I'm not sure how much this gets communicated back to the machine itself. There's another one of these whole panels attached to the machine itself. Yeah.
Yep.
Which we're not going to mess with right now as George is busy fine tuning. Yeah.
Yep. All right, so for all my industry people or people who are interested in this is the model that we have gone with. So the KV-XM tray and pot filler. Now, this is one of their newer models. It's only been on the market for about 3 years now. But that is what is so great about working with AdeptAg, is that Jerry was able to call them and say, these are what our needs are. This is what our business model is. Help us figure out what is the best fit of the machine for our company. What do you recommend? Because obviously they are the experts of their equipment. And so this is what they recommended for us. And so just working with them has been so nice and so easy, because it has taken so much stress off of our shoulders, making sure that we're getting the right machine, making sure that how it gets here and the installation, how we build the building and how we set it up. They have helped with all of that. And if you know anything about being a business owner, if you can find those people who are experts in their field so that you don't have to become the total expert, it just is such a mental load off. And so we are so grateful for the folks at AdeptAg. And then to have George fly in from Ohio and be here with us for a couple of days to make sure that it is running perfectly. Absolute godsend. So some of the things like that George is going to be doing is, so we've got all these different components. I think there's like a total of 6 different pieces, plus we have our conveyor that will go on the front. So what he is going to do is make sure, one, that everything is lined up correct. So it'll start with the potting machine itself. Make sure that it is at the right height, that it is level, because all of that matters. So then from there, we build off of that. So obviously he's working on that. Once you get the trays that have the soil that come through, then it comes through on this conveyor. This is where all the potting, now it's locked into place. It's locked into place, but there's 3 tables here that flip up and lock into place. So our folks can be standing here and have all the plugs, the liners right here, and they're just going to town. So this, of course, has to be level with the potting machine. Then it moves into the water tunnel. This is the coolest thing. So obviously it's still wrapped up, but you've got 4 different bars here that are going to shoot water, and that sounds very tough. They're going to gently moisten the plants and the soil so that they have the water that they need. George is going to take care of all of this. Jerry's got the water that's coming down. You can see we've got electrical coming down, and then they're going to move on through down here. All of that water gets collected, so we're not going to have water pouring down on the floor. It's all collected in these pipes, comes into this bin. It'll kind of sift out the soil, the big pieces, but all of this has has to be level, and then just that clean water will come through and it'll be dumped in and down into the drain. So George is not only going to be here to help make sure that it's all set up correctly, that it's level, but what helps me, because this is not how my brain works, all of these pieces of equipment have to be connected to one another so that they talk to each other. So when you flip the switch, they all turn on together. They all shut off together. Everybody knows which speed to run. It is a well-oiled machine, pun intended, for it to run smoothly. And so that is what George is here to make sure happens. Now, when we get to that point, which is only going to be in like the next 2 days probably, we're going to bring you along for the whole entire ride, because I know that so many of you out there, you don't own a garden center, you don't grow plants professionally like we do, but you are so invested in this project and you are so excited about this. And of course, we want to share our excitement with you about how this works, because plants are still coming in. We just talked about these perennials that just arrived like 2 weeks ago. We're gonna have a bunch more plants that come in that we need to get potted up and get growing for either this fall or the spring. And so this baby, once she's up and running, my goodness, she is going to get put to use right away. So we will bring you along for that ride. Of course, the construction of the building is still going on, but right now the focus is getting this baby up and running for sure. And so, yeah, very grateful for AdeptAg, how easy they've been to work with, and having George here, he's great. So lots of fun things happening here. I will have all of the plants that we've talked about, those plants that are on sale, they will be in the video description or either tagged in the video. So if you're interested in that, the shrubs, obviously they're going to ship right away. So we're going to ship them to you now. Like I said, those are perennials that are on pre-order. Just be aware of your growing zone and know that they're not going to ship in the next couple of days. It's going to be a couple of weeks before those roots go, and then we're going to send them to you. So just be aware of that and be a smart shopper and a good student of your own garden. We really appreciate you. Thank you for all of your love and support. If you have not subscribed to Gardening with Creekside, we would love it if you would do that. Y'all have an amazing day. We will see you in the next video. Bye, friends.